All right, excellent. So, thank you very much for joining me on this today. I want to start by just having you introduce yourself. Just tell anybody that would be watching this video later, should we decide to use this in video form, your name and just what business you're in.
Okay, my name is Karen Bellon, and I am teaching online anatomy and physiology, and I'm a chiropractor, and I finished PVU.
Oh, excellent. Very, very good. And who do you serve in your life? Like, who are the people that you take care of in your life generally?
I take care of my family, my friends, and I've learned through you, Marie, that I need to take care of myself. So I'm putting myself on that list now, too.
Oh, great. I love that. That's perfect. So, when you were first considering coming to Pure Vitality, what happened in your life at that time that caused you, to seek out Pure Vitality?
Well, I've always liked natural medicine. I'm not a person who likes to take medications, and I was diagnosed, I don't even know how many years ago it was, with either hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's disease. I've had doctors tell me it's both, and I'm like, it can't possibly be both. So I'm not really sure which one it is, and I have asthma. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to take this little pill every day because eventually my thyroid will be shot. So I decided to seek out Pure Vitality, and I've been there, I guess, a little bit over a year now.
Okay. What happened that let you know that you were kind of struggling?
Well, the symptoms, I never had symptoms. So it was never symptom based. It was just the fact that I didn't want to take that medication because I do know from the chiropractic point of view that, yes, the thyroid medication might help my TS3 levels, my T4 levels, but it's somewhere down the road, it's doing something else to my body. And I did not want that. I did not want my liver to have to keep processing this every single day. And then, God forbid, my liver gets shot because I've been taking all of this stuff.
Right. That makes sense. When you and I met, what was it about me that let you know that you wanted to work with me in coaching and evaluations and things?
Well, it's interesting. When I first went for the evaluation a while ago, one of the things that came up on the scan was actually emotional coaching. And I was like, oh, give me a break. You've got to be kidding me, right? I'm German. I am strong. So there was just, I don't know, I guess I was going through something weird in my life. And I was just looking at one of the videos that you had posted up regarding how emotional coaching had helped you. And I was in tears. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I am stuck someplace. I need to speak with somebody. So I came in for a discovery session, and immediately you put me right at ease. You were very calming to my spirit. You were very soothing, and you gave me a safe place. I hate to say this, but to cry. I
Mm.
guess I just needed to get stuff out, and we didn't really do a whole lot. But I remember that first session, the affirmation you said, that I said that I had to say out loud was, I am worth loving and fighting for. And I had a really hard time doing that. I didn't believe it.
Mm.
But then after I went home and I spoke with my husband, he asked how it went. And I was like, it went fine. I have to say this. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, he's like, you do. He's like, you need help. My love is not enough. You need somebody to speak with. So that was it. I think
Wow.
I made an appointment that same day.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's huge. What do you feel like was missing for you in your life, that kind of led you to that place?
I think it's because I internalize things and I do not like to bother people with my problems. And I never really spoke to anybody with my problems. I'm close with my sister, but she has her own life. She's got her own issues. My child, I'm there for her. I'm there for my husband. And I guess I never really thought that I needed somebody until that specific time. And then I was like, I do. I need to get stuff off of my chest. I need to free myself to be myself so I can take care of the other people in my life.
Right. I love that too, because I think so often people do feel like they're a bother to others and that they have to just sort of weather whatever storm that they feel like they're in on their own. And they feel like that to bring their problems to somebody else makes them sort of a burden, to others. And
Mhm.
so I've seen that a lot. I hear that a lot from a lot of clients feeling like they had to handle it on their own, especially when they're the caregivers of their family and they're the ones that typically take care of everybody else. Like you said, you take care of your family, you take care of your friends, and I love that you're on that list now for yourself. What were your goals that you had in mind when you started coaching with me?
My goals were simple, just to be happy, just to find some type of peace in my life.
Yeah,
And I just needed that.
yeah,
And it wasn't until I actually started the coaching, when I started going through some of the things that I was holding on to, that I was
yeah.
actually able to achieve more happiness and peace, to like myself, which is something that I did not do. I had gained weight. I didn't like myself. And I think I was hiding myself. I would always wear these baggy t-shirts and I didn't want to be seen. And
Mm,
that's not a way for me to live. I like being with people. I like being outside. I like doing things. And through coaching, it has taught me that I might be a bigger size, but I'm still the same person. And that my worth is not tied to whatever size I happen to be in.
I love that. I want to like put that on a billboard for all women to hear and see because that's very true. What do you think were the challenges or the blocks that stopped you from kind of having that happiness in the past before you and I started working together?
Wow. I think it was just me not being ready. It
Mm,
takes time. I think there's a saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to exercise, which I did do. I knew I needed to eat better. And I do have a chip addiction. My name is Karen. I have a chip addiction. Um, I just did not want to face it.
right.
I think I was just in that place where I knew something had to happen, and I just was not willing yet to face the things that I needed to face.
Mm. So, after working with me, what are some of the actions that you started to take as a result of working with me?
One of the sessions we had, you taught me about breathing. Breathe in 4 or 5, breathe out about 6 to 8. And I actually still do that. If I'm feeling stressed, I still breathe. If I go to drop my daughter off at swim practice, if I have a few minutes, even if I'm not feeling stressed, I will do it anyway, just to
Yeah.
take that time, because just because I'm not feeling stressed, somewhere I probably had stress and it's probably weighing down, but now I know, just breathe. And the other thing, which I would like to get a bracelet for, is to believe.
Mm,
Believe in myself, believe I can do it, believe I am worth it, and believe that I am an awesome person.
I love that. I think that's a fantastic idea. So in the midst of you and I working and you taking some of these action steps, tell me about any obstacles that kind of showed up as a result of you doing the work,
Mm.
like things that maybe would get you stuck like right in the middle of our work where you're thinking,
Wow.
gotta move past this. Like what were some of the obstacles that you encountered while we were working together?
The obstacle that I know is the affirmations. They are
Mm,
so important, and it's something so simple. And I never would have thought that it would make that big of a difference. But it was me telling myself how worth it I am, to look in the mirror, to verbally say it out loud, that I am worth loving and fighting for. I don't have to carry the world on my shoulders. I can seek help. And to find a safe haven to get that help was so important to me. I just cannot thank you enough. But the
tear it up over here.
affirmations were the hardest part for me. Just having to say those things out loud, because I was always the type of person who, if I did something wrong, I would say, if I dropped my keys, I'd be like, "Oh gosh, you're so klutzy." And as you had said, if that is true, what else can be true? And then I realized, I dropped my keys. It's no big deal. I forgot something. I'm not perfect, and that's okay. I don't have to be perfect anymore.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of retraining my brain, and those affirmations are really what started me along that path to change my brain.
Mm, I love that. I love that. Releasing perfection is such a, and it's funny because I've recognized in my own life and with working with, hundreds and hundreds of clients that the release of perfectionism isn't something that you'll do once and be done with it. Like
No.
sometimes it's a daily thing. Sometimes it's like, okay, like you're not perfect. It's okay. Like just having to have that conversation with yourself is so valuable, and it's not a one and done. It's just
No,
not. It's
I
something,
still do it.
yeah. But it's beneficial to adopt that into your life. Have you gotten any of your specific desired outcomes as a result of working with me? That happiness that you were looking
I
for?
am. I am more happy. I am now looking better. I'm not wearing those baggy t-shirts anymore. If I'm going to work out, or if I'm going to work in the yard, or if I'm going to run to swim practice and I know I'm going to walk, I will wear those things but now when I go out in public, I put my makeup back on. I get dressed now, and, I do feel better for it. Again, I've just decided that, size does not matter. And eventually, when the time is right, it'll just start melting off.
That's right. I love it. What outcomes did you get that you weren't expecting?
The crying. You know, there were a lot of things I do. Like I said, I internalize a lot, and faced with having to deal with certain things like my mother's death and my grandmother's death, which death is a part of life, but I was very close to them. And when that happened, I did not fully accept. And then once going through coaching, I did accept it. I said my goodbyes, and not that I don't think about them, not that I don't miss them, but life is for the living, and I need to live my life, and there'll come a time where I will see them again, but right now it's all about me.
Yeah, I love that. How do you feel like how did working with me help you overcome some of those things?
It made me face them. It
Mm,
allowed me to express things that I was feeling that I never expressed to anybody, because I knew that I was not going to be judged. I did not have to be strong for you. I was allowed to be vulnerable, which is not something that I usually ever allow myself to do. And just having somebody to say that to, and to have somebody say, it's okay. You are allowed to be vulnerable. We're not meant to be holding up the world on our shoulders. We need to be able to feel the emotions that we have, and then deal with those emotions in the proper way, and then continue on with your life. Make sure that you are happy, and then you can take care of other people. If you are not healthy yourself, if you are not happy yourself, it's really hard to love other people or have them love you. If you see yourself as unworthy, this is going to sound really strange, but I think we somehow exude that in something that we do. We just put off those vibes that we don't feel that we are worthy. And I think people kind of start treating us that we are not worthy. And until I coached with you and I realized that I am worth it, I think my attitude started to change. And then I think my relationships strengthened, and people started treating me the way they used to treat me. Not kind of like this, oh, it's poor Karen. No, now I am Karen.
I love that. I don't think that that's strange at all. I've often said that we teach people how to love us by how we love ourselves. And I think that you're right, that it does kind of exude out of you. Like when you're in that place of feeling like you're not enough,
Yeah.
it's evident. It's sort of written on you, which leads me into the next question. So, and you were starting to say it there. In what specific ways have things changed for you in other areas, i.e., your spirituality, your health, your relationships, your emotional well-being?
Oh, so much. I now know I can do whatever I put my mind to. I do have that strength that I used to have when I was younger.
Mhm.
Before the death of my grandmother and my mother, I have that back. I can do whatever I put my mind to, whether it be getting rid of the chips. I can do it, which is something that, I can do it. It's not something that I was able to kind of do. And I think I kind of use those as a crutch.
Mhm.
I feel that I can speak better with my husband and my daughter because now I think I'm more willing to listen,
Mm.
where I did listen, but it was not actively listening. So now I feel that I could do that more. And I think I just now just go out. I just now try to live better. Like I said, I breathe. I have gotten into meditation, which is something that, not that I didn't believe it worked, I just didn't think it was right for me. And now I was like, you know what? I do need this. I need the time to be quiet. I need to take some time out for myself, whether that be meditating, whether that's going for a walk, whether that is just looking at a flower. I need to take that time myself. So I have become more confident and a much calmer person than I was before coaching sessions.
I love that. And I love that you're like, I still love my chips, but I recognize that they were crutch, and I also
Yep.
recognize I don't have to have them. Like,
I
I can
don't have to have them.
put those down and I'm okay.
Yep.
How do you feel about coaching now versus how you felt about it before? Like, how did you feel about coaching before and now after?
Well, before when I spoke with you at the discovery session, I realized that I did need it. When it came up on the Asira, I was like, no. And I guess maybe there was like some of that little stigmatism that, if you see a coach, it's kind of like, okay, you're a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Right.
but that's not what it is. And it took going through coaching to realize that everybody needs help. I am not by myself. We all have things that we're going through, whether it is a divorce, whether it is a hurtful heart issue, whether it is cancer, whether it is you want to lose weight, whether you just need your confidence. Coaching has really, it's changed me. It has opened up a whole new world. It has allowed me the freedom to express myself, whether that would be through journaling, just breathing. Maybe it would be a hard exercise session that just, I'm kind of like crazy and it's just like, okay, I'm going to run just a little bit faster. Or just knowing that there's a safe place, a person I can speak with who, like I said, I will not be judged. And that is really the key to people. We all have problems, and just knowing that there's somebody who will listen and not tell you what you have to do, not tell you how you're supposed to feel,
Yeah.
because there is no right way to feel and there is no right way to do something. That is really what I took away from coaching.
Mm. Mm. What do you think has been your biggest aha from working with me?
That I'm worth it. And I know I keep going back to that, but it had been such a long time since I felt like I was worth it. And just going through that and learning again that I do love myself. And that's something that I did not allow myself to do. Um, and just being able to do that it's been amazing. It really, just to know that I am worthy of other people's love, which I did not think I was. Myself was bad enough, but just to know that I have friends who love me, and it's because of me, not
Mm.
because of anything I've done for them, not because of anything I've said. It's because they love me for who I am. And then it's like, well, if they love me for me, I've got to be worth it. So I'm going to start loving myself. And once I started loving myself and accepting who I am, what size I am, what I do. I just became a much more happy person.
Mm, I love that. Did anything surprise you? Were there any kind of twists in our work?
Yes. The fact that nobody said I had to do anything. I mean, I got homework. I had my affirmations. I had to write letters, which actually was another tool that I was just like, okay, yep, okay, I'm going to write a letter. No problem. But as I wrote those letters, the emotion that came out that I was not expecting, because I never physically told these people these things. And it allowed me to release a lot of emotions that I had, a lot of things that I had been carrying around that I didn't even realize. Once I started writing, I mean, 3 to 4 pages front and back was a short letter. And I
Right.
was like, wow, I really I've got a lot of stuff going on over here. So just being able to do that also, and not telling me what it was, allowing me to make the connections myself really helped me, because I tend to be a little stubborn. It's got that German blood in me. So being stubborn, I don't really like to be told what I can or cannot do. Being able to find out and be like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. Okay, that makes sense now. So allowing me to make those connections really helped me a lot.
Yeah, I love it. And that's a big misconception, is that I think that when people think they're going to coaching, that they're going to be advised on things. And the truth
Mhm.
that it's more like a guidance sort of system, like where my goal is to help you as the client to get to that place on your own,
Mhm.
um, by asking the right questions, by kind of nudging you in the right direction, by helping you to reframe things and look at it in a way that maybe you've never looked at it before. That's always the goal. So with all of that work and all that amazing work that you put into it, because I always say that it's the client that's doing the work. I'm just the Sherpa. I'm just helping you climb. I'm not doing it for you, right? Like I'm there
No,
to
you
assist.
didn't.
I'm there to assist, and that's it. What do things look like for you now? Like, where have you experienced the most impact, the most alignment in your life as a result of all this?
I would say it's led me more into realizing what I wanted to do. Like I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, I went through PVU,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a great program, but I see that I lean more towards the emotional coaching side myself. Just having that realization, the impact that emotional coaching actually can do for somebody, it's life changing. It is altering for these people who are willing to take the time to do it, to just unburden themselves. And it actually has helped my spirituality. I always like being outside, but now when I go run or walk at the Chattahoochee where we like to go, I'll take the time out instead of just looking, okay, where's that next quarter mile marker? Where is it? I'll look around and I'll be like, oh, look at the trees, look at the birds. Oh, look, there's a squirrel. And, I'll stop after a while and look at the water. And it's just allowed me to connect a little bit more with the world outside and how amazing all of that stuff is, and how it makes me feel. I loved going to the beach, and I never really understood why, but it always makes me feel calmer. And I love watching the water. I loved hearing the water. I love going in the water up to my knees. Don't like the sharks. Don't want them. But it has allowed me to connect a little bit more with the earth than I originally thought it ever would have. That thought never even crossed my mind that coaching would lead me towards that direction, but it has.
I love that. As somebody who's very connected to nature myself, like I love hearing that. How did what you experienced with me differ from things that you had maybe tried in the past?
I never really tried anything in the past. Like I said, I was always holding it in. I would mention little bits and pieces here and there to people, but I've never really given anybody the entire story or how I felt about things. Everybody just assumed when there's a death in the family, obviously you feel sad, but they
Yeah.
never think of how sad. you know, what that connection is. Is there any guilt involved? Is it just the fact that you miss the person? Is it just, you know, that you will not see them, what exactly it is? And so I never really opened myself up to anybody. So I never really tried anything before. So this was actually the first time. And, you know, I now know that anytime I need to come in, I'm just going to make that appointment and say, book me for Marie, please. I need a couple of hours there.
I have that happen, believe it or not, even after clients have gone through their 12 weeks. Many of them continue and they just do it like once a month or things like that. And I'll even have some clients that aren't even doing it on the monthly, but I'll see them like quarterly, like 4 times a year. And it's just like, they're like, okay, I've hit a wall.
That's it.
Let's talk about this. I need to process it out, and you're the person to do it with. And
That's
so
it.
I love and appreciate that, not just that you are honoring and trusting me with that privilege to trust you to provide that safe space for you, but that you're doing it for yourself is far more valuable. I think that's amazing that you now are in such a self-aware place that you're like, okay, I don't want to do this on my own, and I don't have to.
Exactly.
And just walking into that. And so I think that's great. So I only have one final question, and that's,
Okay.
do you have any final thoughts that you want to share?
If I would say to anybody who's out there, if there are any goals you want to achieve that you find that you have not been able to, if there's anything that you are going through, if there's anything just to talk to somebody, I would so suggest going to see Marie. It is life-changing. And I know I've said that before, but it's true. Nobody puts enough, I guess, stock into the spiritual and the emotional part of us as beings. We are just not the physical. Those are the symptoms that show up, but a lot of symptoms that do show up for the physical side come from the emotional side that we're just not taking care of. I would do this again in a heartbeat. I would send anybody I thought was having any type of problems to Marie. Hands down. Yeah, I would even pay for people to go if it would help them, and I knew it would help them. I would just say, here's the money, knock yourself out. I feel so strongly in emotional coaching. And like I said, going through PVU, that was one of the reasons I was going through PVU. As I started doing the coaching, the natural medicine is awesome. And as I was going through the coaching, I noticed how important that is. And so many people are just not addressing that part. So I decided to go through PVU. And like I said, I do lean more towards the coaching portion, which is, like I said, such an important part of one's health and happiness. You rock, Marie. You rock.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking the time to come on with me and to talk about this, because it is important. And for me to go out into the world and say, hey, you should be doing this. It's so important. It's going to help you so much. I feel like doesn't have the same impact as talking to somebody who's made themselves a priority in that way, who's kind of yesed their own goals and desires and pursued this, and who's gone through the process of coaching and gotten to experience really what it is. And I mean, every good coach has a coach. So even I do this, like I do this for me. I have my own, people that I connect with that help me stay and keep my goals in alignment, that help me kind of refresh my spirit and change the way that I'm thinking about things. And whatever the behavior or the habit is that you're wanting to change, or even if it's your weight or, whatever it is, like your relationships, your money, your job, whatever it is, that's the area that you're feeling stuck in, this really can be the answer.
Yep, I agree.
And I love that. I love not being the only one to stand on the rooftops and shout that. So thank you immensely for taking your time and for sharing your story. I think it's a beautiful one, and getting to partner with you and other clients like you is my greatest honor and privilege. And I never take it lightly that I get to be the person that you trust to process those things with, to break those things down with. And may it always be so, right? Like, may I always get that honor and that I'm always grateful for it. Because I want to help people be grateful for the things that the people that they are in their own lives, and to help them show up for that without fear and without trepidation and without self-doubt, to
Yes.
know the amazing men and women that they are in their own lives, and that they could be if they would just willing to kind of open-handedly hold that fear and that vulnerability out, and really expose it instead of piling things on top of it to sort of hide it from the world. I think that limits us so much. And so thank you for being vulnerable, even in having this conversation with me, and telling your story and sharing your come from on this. I love and respect you dearly, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to do this with me today.
Thank you.
Thank
And thank you for all the work you've done with me. Thank you so much for partnering up with me and getting me to the place that I'm happy at.
It's my pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure, Karen. Thank you again so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for all of this.
Thank you.
Oh.